Top Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin gave her deposition this week. So she said Hillary decided to use a private email server while she was Secretary of State because she was frustrated of how slow communications were on the .gov system. A new book by a former Secret Service agent who was assigned to former President Bill Clinton's administration charges that the former First Lady lacks the integrity, his words, to serve as president. Gary Byrne is with me now. He is the author of this book called Crisis of Character. Gary, we're so glad to have you here on Risk and Reward. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
We know that you in the book make numerous characterizations saying that Hillary Clinton's temperament does not make her fit to be president. But I want to ask you first, and we certainly want to talk about that, do you think that Huma Abedin and Hillary Clinton are telling the truth in these depositions?
Based on my experience with the Clintons, I don't believe they have the ability to tell the truth. And I'd also like to mention that if Mrs. Clinton was concerned about how slow the servers were, she should think about that the next time she wants to do one of these large government programs. Why not fix something instead of just circumvent it?
So I want to ask you about something that just broke, actually. The State Department has filed a motion in federal court for a 27-month delay. That is to say, delay releasing the correspondence between Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State and 4 of her top aides. And there's an implication here that it would overlap with some of the correspondence concerning the Clinton Foundation. Does this request in a federal court for a 27-month delay make sense to you?
No, it does not. But it does fit into the typical Clinton behavior that we've seen for the last 25 years. And obviously, I mean, anybody who looks at this would think that it's just they're trying to delay this until hopefully she becomes president. And then we'll hear, months and months of, them blaming somebody else for whatever it turns out to be in these emails.
So, Gary, I know because I've read through the book that you said as part of your job, I know your dream was to be a Secret Service agent, so you succeeded in your own personal career goal. And part of that role is protecting the people that you're working with, protecting them physically, protecting them somewhat emotionally. So what made you want to write this book? Because I know on numerous occasions you did protect the Clintons.
I did, and I tried to help them as much as I could at certain times. One of the things that compelled me to write this book was I wanted the American people to know the truth. And I also wanted my kids to know the truth. And after watching the last couple of years and watching Mrs. Clinton head towards a good chance of becoming president and knowing what I know, clearly I've crossed the line with writing this book, but I feel that it's that important. I feel it's time for people to know the truth.
So you feel like the country is at this kind of pivotal moment or a crossroads, and you feel like you have an obligation to share at least your perception, your opinion, working with them very closely of how you see them.
Yes, that's exactly right. And clearly, I myself have crossed some pivotal point, too, to do this. 10 years ago, if you'd have told me I was going to do this, I'd have said, no way, I would never do it. But things have changed now, and I think it's important that the American public knows.
So, Gary, when you talk about your voice and it being amplified, I mean, there are many on mainstream media who just won't invite you on their TV shows, who don't want to interview you for their newspapers, and they say that you have created a credibility issue for yourself, and some say you're outright lying. What is your response to them?
Well, everything in my book is about my life, and it's true. Who would put themselves in a position for this kind of scrutiny if it wasn't true? And two, the reason they're so afraid of this book is because it is true. And it's hard to deny that it's true, because I was the first employee of the Secret Service Uniform Division to be compelled to testify against the president in a criminal case. I was subpoenaed 6 times. And eventually I was ordered to testify by former Judge Rehnquist.
And I also know that you had to go through the whole Monica Lewinsky affair with the Clinton family. I know that you were interrogated, for lack of a better term, by Kenneth Starr. I mean, you were interwoven even in their personal lives.
That's exactly right. And as hard as it is for some people to understand why I wrote this book, they also have to look at the position I was placed in by the Clinton administration. And I don't see any difference in the way President Clinton behaved then if his wife gets elected and he becomes the first male spouse of a president, how is he going to behave in the White House? Is it going to be the same thing that we saw during the 8 years I was there? That's one of the things that concerns me.
Gary, what is your biggest concern? If I just said the biggest concern, it is fill in the blank.
The biggest concern is that Mrs. Clinton gets elected without people knowing the truth.
Okay. Gary Byrne, we thank you very much.